820. Solve the following quadratic equations by factoring and using the zero product property. Okay, so the first problem we want to do here is x squared plus 42 equals 30x. So the first thing we have to do is get 13x over here. So we have x squared minus 13x plus 42 equals 0. So we have to factor this quadratic. So we use our factoring. So we've got x squared here, 42. And so I want factors of 42 x squared to add up to negative 13x. And I already know what these are going to be. It's going to be negative 6x and negative 7x. So negative 6x, negative 7x. So then factor out what's in common. So we've got 6, x, x, 7, and these are going to be negatives. Alright, so our factors end up being x minus 7 times x minus 6 equals 0. And so then we use the zero product property that says x minus 7 equals 0 and x minus 6 has to equal 0. And then we add 7 to both sides and we get x equals 7. We add 6 to both sides and we get x equals 6. So our two solutions are 6 and 7, and that is going to be where we cross the x-axis. Oops, that's not right. Let me try that again. If I have my quadratic and I graph it and I do everything right, this would be 7 and this would be 6. It's where it's crossing the x-axis. Alright, now moving on to B, and again we're solving by factoring. So what they've done is we have to move the 9 over to the other side. So we get 0 equals 3x squared plus 10x minus 9, and this ends up being minus 8. And again we're using the zero product property, so we have to factor. So we complete our box. We have 3x squared and then minus 8, and we want our factors to be negative 24x squared, and we want them to add to 10x. Now if you forgot how to do this, remember we look at our factors: 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. And so we're either looking at adding these or subtracting them. Because this is a minus, we're going to subtract these, and we're looking for our factors to add up to 10x. Okay, so when you subtract 1 from 24, you get 23. 2 from 12 is 10. And so those are the two factors we want. And we want our number to be positive, so 12x is positive and minus 2x. That gives us the positive 10x. So 12x and negative 2x. So we factor. 12 and 8 have 4 in common. And 2x and 3x squared have x in common. This is 3x and this is negative 2. So our factors are 3x minus 2 times x plus 4. Using the zero product property, we have 3x minus 2 equals 0. So 3x equals 2, x equals 2/3, and then x plus 4 equals 0, and x equals negative 4. And this is where it crosses the x-axis. Alright, so C and D, they want us to use a different method. They want us to complete the square. So we can keep the equation as is, complete the square on this part, so that would be k minus 8 squared, and then that would be minus 64 equals 17. and then we're solving. At this point it's in graphing form, so we want to solve for k, so we're going to add 64, add 64, so we get k minus 8 squared equals 81, which is convenient. Take the square root of both sides, and then k minus 8 equals plus or minus 9, and k equals 8 plus or minus 9, k equals 17, and negative 1. Alright, now the last problem we have, they've rearranged it quite a bit. We need to get this term over here. So we have z squared minus 1000 z plus 6775 equals 0. And again, we're completing the square, so we're only completing the square on this part here. So this is going to be z minus 1000 divided by 2 is 500 squared. 500 times 500 is 25. What is that? 250,000. So this is minus 250,000. And then we're adding 60, 75 equals 0. So z minus 500 squared. So minus, whoopsie, I want this, minus 6775. Okay, so this ends up being minus 189,225 equals 0. So we're going to move that to the other side. So z minus 500 squared equals 189,225. Take the square root, take the square root. So z minus 500 equals, the square root of 189,225 is 435. Thank God it's a whole number. And then remember, that's going to be plus or minus. We add 500, so we get z equals 500 plus or minus 435. So z equals 935 and 65.